okay, you're releasing a new blog. How do you integrate your messaging naturally, not like you're shoving it down people's throats, on how you really focus on those values when you approach new pieces of content and those types of things.
We
Yeah.
sort of talked about messaging, and before I go into some of the other key elements of the marketing mix, around the messaging, how do you help someone get that message out and refine it? What's your process of doing that?
We have a package we've put together that we've taken many partners through called a brand messaging framework, probably something you're very familiar with, Paul, but it does take quite a few internal interviews, quite a few external interviews, some competitive analysis, putting together, core themes, looking at what they have out in the market today, identifying the real reasons that customers choose you and continue to work with you. Some of the more difficult ones are if they're trying to make a pivot in industry into a different sector of that industry, like, okay, where we're asking people historically why they've worked with you, but we're also going this direction to try to find new people. How do we synthesize all of that information? But it's about a 4 to 6 week body of work that we work through with clients. On the other side of those things, we do give them 2 options for full frameworks to be able to move forward with brand messaging. So that looks like a tagline that's value driven, that looks like a USP or some kind of value proposition, and a couple of supporting statements. And we give them in a few different directions, but generally it's not focused on them. Like that is one thing that we pivot away from, which we also find ourselves. And then we take feedback. We of course work with the client to make sure that it feels like them. They have to now embody where we're moving forward with it in this framework. And then with that feedback, we really work out on those sections and then show them how that lays out on when we start to integrate messaging into their website and social profiles and sales assets and marketing materials, and how do all these things get integrated, and then give them some test scenarios where it's like, okay, you're releasing a new blog. How do you integrate your messaging naturally, not like you're shoving it down people's throats, on how you really focus on those values when you approach new pieces of content and those types of things. Often that does turn into a longer engagement with our clients because we're taking them from step 1 to like, let's get this rolled out. And then what does that look like on a continuous cadence? And so then we're working with partners on updating their Microsoft marketplace listings. We're working with new material for maybe they've decided to go after a different sector, like I said. And so we're launching something new into a new event in a new market, whether that's online or in person, et cetera. So just a holistic approach to rolling out that messaging. And I think a lot of partners, what we do see is like they may put it on their homepage and then kind of forget it about everything else, or put it on their LinkedIn company page and then it doesn't roll out everywhere else. Or the worst is if it doesn't get communicated well to like the sales team or the services team. And so the marketing team's saying something, and then as soon as they have that next interaction with the sales team, it's like we're taking a sharp turn right and now we're not speaking the same language. So we try to make sure that we've got all of those touch points in place, and then we've put together templates so it's easy for the sales team to kind of pivot some of their sequences and journeys and the way that they're, having those first calls. So they're integrating that messaging as well.
Yeah, and someone once said to me, people are looking for the reasons not to work with you to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the reasons to work with you. And so you don't want to have too many things that aren't right. And one of the most obvious ones is your messaging, right? If your message is incongruent, it's self-interested, but even if you do get it right in parts, people want to see that consistency of message. And, we all get too busy, and that's why we need someone like Erica in our life to take that off your plate and to do it.
I appreciate that you say Erica in your life, but honestly, there's a whole team that does a much better job than Erica behind the talking head right here.